So, we're diving into the wild world of the Roaring Twenties, where everyone was riding high on the idea that good times could last forever. But then, bam, the market crashed.
Yeah, indeed. Absolutely. It's like one moment you're at the top of the party, and then suddenly the music stops and you're left in complete silence, right?
Exactly. And it's so, like falling off a cliff, dancing on a cliff, if you will. People were making fortunes left and right, from the barber to the shoeshine boy, but the party was built on shaky
Oh,
ground.
And then comes Black Tuesday, the day everything fell apart. Can you imagine fortunes just disappearing overnight? That's what really shook the foundation of the American dream.
Right, Black Tuesday was like the domino effect of all that reckless speculation. The market was soaring and suddenly it plummeted. It's like all that optimism turned into dust.
Yep, incredible. It's almost surreal. I mean, banks failing one after the other, people lining up for bread, and entire communities forced to confront despair. Were you surprised by how quickly the narrative shifted from boom to bust?
Oh, totally. The video paints this picture almost like a roller coaster, with the heights of the roaring 20s and then the gut wrenching free fall into the Great Depression. And then there's the whole imagery of dust storms and empty bread
Yeah, very
lines.
vivid. Yeah, I found it almost like a dramatic movie trailer for economic collapse. It really highlights how your savings can evaporate in the blink of an eye if the system isn't backed by something solid.
For sure. And then you have the Hoover administration trying to tackle the crisis, but let's say they probably weren't fully equipped to handle the massive chain reaction that was setting in.
Right, got it. I mean, I've seen arguments that Hoover's measures were too little too late, but then there's a counterpoint where some say he had some guts trying to fix it. What do you think?
Well, it's like he was dealing with an enemy you can't see, a combination of systemic financial issues and a complete denial of the scope of the problem. His approach was more about trying to keep the status quo, whereas FDR came in with radical changes.
So then enters FDR with the New Deal, which is portrayed as this beacon of hope in the rubble, right?
Exactly. FDR's New Deal was like a complete reboot of the economic system. It wasn't just a rescue operation, it was a vision to rebuild society with new rules and
Yeah,
structures.
absolutely. And isn't it fascinating how the video simplifies such a complex event as the Great Depression into this almost storybook narrative? It's explained like you're five, but underneath there's so much depth.
Oh, definitely. The crayon style explanation makes it accessible, but it doesn't shy away from the harsh realities. It breaks it down into chapters. First, the wild boom, then the collapse on Black Tuesday, followed by the despair of breadlines, and finally, hope emerging from FDR's New
Right
Deal.
on. And the timeline really helps to understand the sequence of events. It's like first the market is at its peak, then it crashes, and then the country has to rebuild from the ground up.
Yeah, it's almost like watching a well edited documentary that's condensed into a short burst. Each chapter builds on the previous one, making it clear how one event led to another.
For sure. I also found it interesting how the video touches on the misconception that the Great Depression ended with just a sudden burst of recovery. It was really about hard work, new economic rules, and a shift in mindset.
Exactly. It wasn't a magic fix. The recovery was built on a foundation of reform, changing the way banks operated, instituting new forms of financial oversight, and basically rethinking the whole idea of an economy that could collapse so
Yeah,
dramatically.
that's so true. And while the video makes it super accessible, some might argue that oversimplifying might gloss over some of the underlying causes, like the global economic conditions that played a role. What do you think?
That's a fair critique. It's like if you reduce a complex story to a simple drawing, you might lose some of the nuance. But for a general audience, it's a neat way to spark interest.
Absolutely, exactly. Right, it's a balancing act. You want to make history understandable, but also not oversimplify it to the point where the impact of, say, bank failures and speculative bubbles is minimized.
Totally. And the video does mention how reckless speculation was a huge driver. People were throwing money around, believing that the good times could last forever, which in the end set the stage for such a catastrophic collapse.
Precisely. It's almost ironic, isn't it? The very excesses that brought fortune also sowed the seeds of disaster. And then there's this whole cultural shift, going from a mindset of endless prosperity to one of cautious skepticism.
Absolutely. It's like life gave a harsh lesson. The collapse forced an entire generation to reevaluate what economic stability means and pushed policymakers to be more proactive with regulation and reform.
Yeah, spot on. And the imagery, the bread lines, the dust storms, that really communicates how deeply people suffered. It wasn't just numbers on a page, it was everyday livelihoods crumbling.
Right, the video, even with its crayon simplicity, captures that emotional impact. It transitions from the euphoria of the 1920s to the despair of the 1930s very effectively.
Exactly right. And while we're at it, it's really impressive how such a short video packs in so much history, using a style that's approachable yet impactful. It serves as a reminder that sometimes breaking down complicated topics into simple terms can help a lot of people grasp the bigger picture, don't you think?
For sure. And it reminds us that no matter how advanced our understanding gets, the basic human elements, hope, despair, resilience,
Yeah,
remain the
absolutely.
same.
Another interesting point is how the video indirectly critiques the unchecked optimism of capitalism, showing that without proper safeguards, a booming economy can just as fast turn into a nightmare.
Yes, and that's especially relevant today when debates about financial risks and market stability are still very much in the public arena. It's like history keeps repeating itself if we don't learn the lessons.
Exactly. I must say, though, while the explanation is engaging, sometimes the narrative might come off as a bit too, black and white. Economic history is nuanced, and not every collapse follows the exact same script, don't you think?
That's a good point. I mean, there are gray areas, and while the video does a great job at captivating its audience, sometimes it simplifies the shades of economic policies and human decisions. It's like painting with a broad brush.
Right, absolutely. Yet, for someone just getting introduced to these ideas, that broad brush helps them form a mental picture. Later, they can dive deeper into the complexities.
Exactly. It's a stepping stone, a fun, colorful introduction that opens the door to more rigorous study of economic history.
Yeah, totally. And the creative use of chapters, Dancing on a Cliff, Black Tuesday, A Nation on Its Knees, and Hope in the Rubble really captures the dramatic shifts in that period. It's almost cinematic, don't you think?
Absolutely. It's like each chapter is a scene in a movie where the stakes get higher. The titles themselves draw you in, setting the tone for what's about to unfold.
Yeah, so true. Pulling it all together, we see that the Great Depression wasn't just a period of economic hardship, but a profound turning point in American history. It reshaped policy, redefined societal roles, and left a legacy that still influences economics today.
Exactly. It stands as a reminder that while the allure of easy money and unchecked optimism can drive a nation forward, it can also spiral out of control without proper oversight and resilience.
Right, indeed. And that's the enduring lesson, the need for balance in our economic systems. It's both a cautionary tale and a beacon of hope, the story of downfall, but also of remarkable recovery with FDR's New Deal, setting a new course for the future.
Well said. It's like a cycle of creation, collapse, and rebuilding, a process that, as messy as it may be, is part of how we all learn and grow economically and socially.
Yeah, exactly. This conversation really brings home the point that understanding history, even when simplified, helps us grasp the importance of well-structured economic policies. And that's something everyone should take to heart.
Absolutely. It's a potent reminder that history isn't just a set of dates and events. It's the story of people, of dreams, of failures, and ultimately of resilience.
Right on. Thanks for this deep dive. It's been engaging and quite eye-opening to revisit these critical chapters of history in such an accessible way.
Anytime. There's always more to history than meets the eye, and it's discussions like these that help keep the lessons alive.
Indeed, exactly.